Hi and welcome to Dulon Polish Systems Australia. This short DVD presentation is aimed at both professionals and novices to give you some assistance in using Dulon and getting the most out of the product. This is a classic example of a very oxidised gel coat K1 kayak. It's about 20 years old, blue in colour and extremely oxidised. So you can see by the process I'm working through there, rather than cutting and polishing straight away, I'm actually doing some light wet sanding first. I used 1500 and then 2000 wet and dry, just for a couple of minutes, and what that does is it gets you back into some decent gel coat. It saves a lot of time. Dulon is a water-based copolymer, so you can actually work with water, and you can see here now we've wet sanded the surface. We've got something decent to work with. Just applying Dulon Polish onto a foam applicator sponge and using just a little bit of water misting on. As I said, it's Dulon's water-based, so keeping the surface moist, especially when using Polish, the Rejuvenating paste, you actually get a wet slurry going. So you'll see here, using a good variable speed, I'm using a Makita buff with a white lamb's wool applicator head. And when you first put the polish onto the surface, very low speed and a little bit of pressure, and that'll ensure that you don't splatter the polish everywhere. As the polish starts to dry, you can slowly increase the speed, and depending on the surface structure, quite a bit of pressure is required to cut the surface. On really oxidised surfaces as this one, I'm actually applying a second coat of Dulon Polish, which is the Rejuvenating paste, and this time I've actually put it directly onto the pad just to show you another way to do it. Again, a little mist of water went on there as well, and at the moment I'm just spreading the polish around before I even hit the trigger, and that again helps to minimise splatter. Introducing a little bit of speed onto the machine now, probably about 700 to 800,000 RPM. So using a fair bit of pressure, and then again as the polish starts to dry and dissipate, I'm increasing the speed up to around 1800 to 2000 RPM. And now once we've got the surface into good condition, we've rejuvenated it, I'm now putting a soft yellow lambswood polishing head on now. And what I've done is the Dulon 1 and 2 light polish and sealer I've now mixed together in that bottle, and I'm applying that to the surface very thinly with a foam applicator pad. One of the benefits of Dulon is that you don't use very much material at all. You're after a thin layer, but you do need to ensure you've got full coverage. When polishing and sealing now with the final, this is the final process to the Dulon process. Basically I'm using quite a bit of speed and not a lot of pressure, and we're fine polishing this surface. The Dulon 1 and 2 actually do combine and cure to form a very hard protective membrane, and that's why Dulon lasts so long. Concept with Dulon is once you've got the surface back to a respectable condition, if you periodically on a vessel like this, probably twice a year, if you just put Dulon 1 and 2 on, you'd maintain that surface and you'd never ever have to cut or rejuvenate that surface again. So obviously on new craft you don't have to use polish, you can just use Dulon 1 and 2, and you're just basically putting a protective membrane on and never letting that surface deteriorate. I'm just using a microfiber finishing cloth there just to wipe off any excess residue, and now just pulling the tape, and that section of that K1 kayak is almost as good as new. To protect that surface now, all we need to do is just wash it periodically. A couple of times a month is good using the Dulon Fresh Clean boat wash, and that chemically enhances the surface.